You may have heard the 4 quarters of Antares, and the last 2 remaining quarters, Langqiu and Oxia, currently exist in the state you see them. The structure should be quite obvious. From top to bottom, there are the current Oxia, Langqiu where you all are now, and the sea trying to engulf everything. Although the physical world isn't categorized in positions like top or bottom, these places do exist this way. You mean, the 7 shoes is something simple a century ago. With the combined power of the 7, they tore off a corner of the world, placing it at the boundary between the current Oxia and the sea, which is now Langqiu. With one person's death, they turned all the shadows in the world into a pool of death, allowing it to flow through the land and block the corruption of evil waves. In the end, they set the 7 nails, stabilizing the tributaries from this pool of shadow and preventing them from overflowing, protecting Langqiu and Oxia. So what if the nails are all pulled out? In that case, Oxia might not return to its former state right away, but the power accumulated in the pool of shadows could easily tear Langqiu apart. Then, what's in it for the dog? Does it hate Langqiu that much? As a creature of shadow, Donigui won't suffer any harm from this. What if this isn't the whole story? If the power of the pool of shadows can nail a bubble universe, then can it also be moved? Moved like this? Unfortunately, the answer is yes. Wait, really, could this be why Donigui went to Oxia? It took the chance to leave its own target point and is now getting ready to use the power of the pool of shadows to move the entire world. At least Oxia and Langqiu's situation might be completely reversed, making the whole thing not so harmful. So Donigui thinks the experiences of the 2 worlds over the past century were unfair. Who knows? This is just a theory. But one of us can restore the nails, right? So you're saying that so long as we constantly restore the pulled-out nails, Donigui can never achieve its goal, and during the process, we'll eventually catch it. Sounds like simple manual labor. I'm afraid things aren't quite as simple as that. You mean the nail in front of us doesn't belong to the toast? No, his nail is the first one. But the shadow I saw just now was one of his 10 fists of misery. Congrats, you've got a lead. In fact, it's not just this kind of connection. If you look at the traces left by Donigui, it seems to be using some power that can only come from the pool of shadows. This has nothing to do with the other shoes. It only comes from the toast, or maybe the source. This is a problem. In terms of shadows, Li Toast and Donigui could be regarded as one. They can wield the power of the pool of shadows much easier than others. Are there any other leads to support the theory? Not really. Perhaps you could ask the scholars in Oxia. They can see changes from another perspective. Okay, I'll contact Chen Xue. Using the communicator on the anchor of the apocalypse, the group reported perceptions theory to Chen Xue. Well, I just heard your discussion through the intelligent monitor on entropy. The Institute will research this matter and check the potential target points. Meanwhile, you should adapt to the situation and find a way to cut off that connection in Langqiu. There is something you can try, but it's probably a gamble. A gamble? Yes, the only way is all of you must die right now. The sooner, the better. Again, please explain your dark stroke. It's not a joke. To some extent, the pool of shadow is gradually becoming part of Donigui. It's focused on pulling out the nails and freeing the pool of shadows. So by jumping into the pool now, there's a good chance you'll separate the two. Doesn't sound like gamble. And after jumping, since you aren't actually dying, you won't reach the end of your lives like in Langqiu tradition. But if Donigui has no intention of trying to assimilate it, you have to endure the 10 phase of mystery, worse than death. So jumping in isn't suicide if Donigui assimilates the pool of shadows. That's right. In this case, it will be much safer because the tail shadow has no intention of harming you, but you have to seize the right time to enter. You mean this is more like jumping into its belly? Exactly. Once it notices anything wrong and decides to do something, you have no way to resist. Even with your help? With my help, the chance of you winning will be over 99%. Pretty promising. Not really. The chance of you getting my help is 50%. Songque, what do you think? Well, I like to say a few things like, one person should be left on the ground, and I happen to be quite good at it. Jokes aside, if what you say is true, I can't just watch a few outsiders solve Langqiu's problem on their own. Reputation matters in my line of work. With the right timing, it doesn't matter if we have another Shu helping. Right. But I still don't understand what Donigui is really after. Things won't end well if we wake up my master. Her master. Donigui aside, how do we seize this opportunity? It can't be purely based on luck, I assume. Of course not. Although we didn't expect to reach this point, we did prepare in advance. Don't forget our trip to Amber Street earlier. You mean the fireworks? Right, and I know exactly where the other nails are. We just need to wait and see where the fireworks crack. Oh yeah, we should go seal the nail on this side first. It won't be long before we get to see the fireworks. Here so soon? Yes, because I gain immediate results when sealing the nail. Oh my, now that I think about it, are you implying something? Still no movement. Shall we take a look at the next nail first?
我们要去的地方仍然很远吗？记录在行动。这声音是
That voice.
是这边吗？那个地界。
That location. Right, it's close to the nail.
错不了。
I'm certain. Hurry, over here.
或许应该规划一下最优路线。是这边吗？这附近。啊，是这里吗？
Is it here? When you mentioned it earlier, I thought
那
it's
当
safer to
然，
enter from
归
a
根结底还
tributary.
是支流保险些。咱们之
If we
前见过
really
的泳
enter from
潭，
that pool
要
of
是真
shadows
从
we
那儿
saw
跳下去，
before,
就像角
as
色的那
Perception
样，
said,
就算没被淹
even
死，
if we
也
don't
难免沾
drown,
上灵恶石
we'll
像里的诅咒。
inevitably be contaminated by the 10 faces of misery. In times like these,
这种时
you
候，
should leave
你们至
someone
少
to
应
be
该
on
留下一个
guard.
人望风。
I think
我
entropy
觉
is
得
better
寻
at
路者
that.
应该比较擅长。
Did you just repeat
寻
what
路
I
者的姐
said?
姐，你是不是把我刚才说的哪句话直接学了一遍？
Yeah, I did it on purpose.
我故意的。虽说
Although
擒贼
catching the
先擒
leader
王是
first
我
was
的
my
天，
idea.
但
If
寻路者
entropy
要
has
是
any
有个三长两
mishaps,
短，
none of you will
那也
leave
就
Langqiu
不会是
alive.
离开朗丘了。
Well, Chenxue,
陈
I
学姐
didn't
原
know
来
you
还
to
有
be
这
so
么可怕的一面
frightening.
啊！不过
But
陈学姐
don't
你放
worry,
心，
so long as
只要
I'm
有我
here,
在，
entropy
寻
will
路
be
者肯
fine.
定不会有事。你这
That
话感
doesn't
觉
sound
好有说服
convincing
力
at
啊！
all. Well, as a
这一
tool,
点
what I'm
虽然作
about
为
to
公
say
信
is a
上说有
bit
些自作主
arbitrary.
张，但如
But
果
if
和
you're
姐姐进入
psychologically
影坛
opposed to
上有
entering
加
the
大
pool
的
of
新人
shadows,
谈，
I have
我倒
another
是可以提
solution.
供一些新方法。
What
什么
kind
样
of
的新方法？
solution? Tell
快说
us.
说看吧。是一种
I
我什么
gave this
方
to
案
Miss
令你失
Corelli
去
once.
的便利？按
In
照
normal
常理，
times,
非得
I
等
can
级
only
交
do
换，
this with
我才能为
equivalent
各位施
exchange,
展。
but since this is
但
an
世界从
emergency,
前为我
you
提
gave it to
供
me
过。
once?
等等，
Wait.
那么如
So
各位所愿。
As you wish. Meanwhile, the silent ground of death welcomed its first trace of vitality after a century. This pool was born from ritualistic sacrifice and continued to exist due to numerous deaths. Right now, the ones in search might not just be the few outsiders. In this unknown corner of the world, a death that was long destined to happen relayed countless times. And the beast that stirred the fate of Langqiu with its own strength was, and still is, a seeker in the death it voluntarily avoided a century ago. Li Toast, you don't have to do this. After the day, you'll truly get what you want.
难道说
Could this be?
大家
Is
都没
everyone
事吧？
alright? How is this
所以
different
之
from
后我们
diving
直接
down
跳下来，
directly?
到底有什么区别啊？可是
And
为什么
why
是我
Amber
付钱？
Street?
错不了。
This is my first time inside,
但瞧这
but
地方，
just look at this
五
place.
黄二黑，
All these stars,
三碧七
they
赤，
include all the
嚯
ominous
简直
signs.
凑了个齐齐整整。哎呦，
Only a
这要是
place
可以
filled with
演出这么长的
shadows
地方，
could be
也就只有
this
除了影子什么都不像的地
inauspicious.
方。欧夏的信号
The signal from Oxia.
不行，
No,
果然联
I
系不
can't
上。
reach the outside.
很正常。
It's
毕
natural
竟这里不
because
是
this
普通
isn't
的
an
空间，
ordinary
和
space,
末日之矛的
and
联
it's
系
not
没那么
tightly
紧密。
linked to the anchor of the apocalypse.
看来
Looks
咱也
like
得
I'll
拿
have
出
to
点
use
真
some of
本
my
事来。
mad skills.
看，
I may
平
be
日里
lazy
懒散惯了，
sometimes, but I'm
但
not
咱
about
可
talks.
从来不是徒有虚名呀。我暂且持保
I
留意
won't
见，
give my opinion on that for now.
所以按照之前的
So,
规
where
划，
should we start
我们
looking
要从哪里
then?
开始找
It
起？
looks like everywhere
看起
here
来
is the
这
same.
里似乎哪里都一样。的确，
Yeah, Songque,
松雀，
can you or
你或者
perception
觉
find that
在
dog's
这种情
trail?
况下，有办法查到那条狗的踪迹吗？只要我们人身处
It
狼丘，
should be quite
这个要
easy,
求
so
算
long
是
as
经
we're
不
still
起
in Langqiu.
不过对
Before we set off, there are a few things to remember.
瞧见刚才的琥珀街了吧？
Did you see Amber Street just now? For over a century, this pool of shadow has been buried. No, I wasn't trying to be offensive, sorry. Countless people have resided in this pool of shadows, so anything could happen. No matter what sounds you hear, ignore them. Even if you feel someone tapping on your shoulder, don't turn around. Also, stay close. Never go more than 3 steps away from me. Is this place haunted? It sure is. The pool of shadows is basically a graveyard for Langqiu. Or the underworld. Either way, the shadows are almost like monsters and demons. What a strange day. I was asleep, had a dream, and then encountered people with superpowers, aliens, and people from another world. Maybe meeting a time traveler will make this day complete. And now we've just jumped into another world's underworld to chase a dog. It seemed like all the elements are complete, but I'm not feeling that nervous. Now you say it, that's quite accurate. Yeah, for Langqiu, this is a matter of life and death. Not feeling nervous. Isn't that because of the native next to us? Since this is a matter of life and death of the world, let's take a nap first. I don't know why, but I always feel like it's something that she'll say. Me? I don't think so. Langqiu is my home. Why would anyone be anxious at home? Even if the dog was about to demolish your house. Well, that's not a big deal. It would be strange if Donigui didn't do anything earth-shattering. If it really comes to that, well, let's talk about it later. Whether it's my master or something else, neither can be easily taken away. And perhaps Entropy's safety is more important. Chen-Xue would skin us alive if anything happened to you. Chen-Xue isn't that scary. I think having you and perception by our side makes everyone feel at ease. Thank you for the compliment. So, should we set off now? And please do keep things I mentioned earlier in mind. Are you afraid of dark? Me? That's funny. Just a little. Did I tell you all to stick close to me? So that's why. Look. But this place really looks so desolate, huh? Isn't there supposed to be a bunch of bizarre phenomena? This actually proves that even Donigui is finding it difficult to control the pool of shadows. It's like trying to hold a whole bucket of water inside a bowl. Most of the water has to be poured out first. Of course, it's only temporary. If we get closer to the portion that Donigui has taken control of, situations like this will only grow increasingly frequent.
很着急的话，也可以把我的设备借你。别动那个叫机密的文件夹就行。是这边。或许应该规划一下最优路线。出发吧。无论何时，都要保持警惕。出发吧。是这边吗？出发吧！哼。是这边吗？出发吧。是这边吗？记录在行动日志里吧。出发吧。是这边吗？除了我，没有更合适的人选了吗？
Thought Experiment on Endless History. Author Yu Yun. Have you ever entertained the notion of such a possibility? That your life, in the boundless expanse of the universe, has in fact repeated countless times and will continue to do so indefinitely. Some may counter, the universe has a clear beginning and size, is not truly infinite. In the realms of physics, this is indeed the case. But within the realm of imagination, there exist more intriguing scenarios. Now, imagine yourself living in an online game. As a character in the game, how does your existence manifest? Are you the same you tirelessly repeating the same words to countless players? Or are there myriad of parallel yous, each corresponding to every individual player? Or perhaps, somewhere in between, you consistently believe you live in a unique world, leading a singular life, yet in truth, this world and you have already repeated and will continue to repeat countless times. Even within this overarching eternity, countless cycles can be delineated, each containing the outcomes of our free will, with specific choices repeating endlessly. In this context, you possess a state comprised of eternal cycles of eternal cycles, infinitely bound across dimensions of time and space. In another perspective, as a character in the game, each interaction with the player initiates the flow of time for you, prompting choices in your life. For your consciousness, each choice appears unique, yet the weight carried by these choices may not be singular, but rather infinite. Of course, you know reality isn't a network game. Thought experiment remain just that, thought experiments. However, from a statistical standpoint, within the sea of quanta, the sea of data in a broader sense, the likelihood of a bubble universe spontaneously arising is far greater than that of a bubble universe derived from a civilized world. And on a more concrete level, in everyday life, encountering humans born from the sea of data is likely a common occurrence. Perhaps, as a reader of this text, you yourself belong to this category. So when you apply this logic behind such common occurrence to the thought experiment just presented, can you still argue it's merely a thought experiment, devoid of any semblance of reality? Your life, in the boundless expanse of the universe, has in fact repeated countless times and will continue to do so indefinitely. My persistence paid off in the end. I finally caught you. Do we know each other? Well, not exactly.
确实没那么熟。哎呀，众所
They say familiarity breeds fondness. The more you come to buy books, the closer we'll get, right?
都熟了嘛。
Well, Antique Inn is a nice place to come. About this place, isn't it kind of weird someone's still opening a physical bookstore in this day of age? But hey, the boss dream is to keep the classics alive. Besides my self-help picks, the entire collection is comprised of tomes that he picked. And if you're lucky, you might score one of his old-school gems. Why have the young ones become so careless in their workmanship? Such items can be sold. I'll have to tell them to redo it. Oh, welcome. Would you like to browse in the store?
您要进店看看吗？
Golden Workshop. Golden Workshop is my store, where every piece of jewelry is handcrafted with love. Our fine gold and silver items are highly sought after in Langqiu. You'll find they're quite beautiful and exquisitely made. Please take your time and look around. Well, I was just passing by. Sure thing. Please feel free to visit again.
客人， 欢迎您有空再来啊。